Khan here for Seconds Out with the returning Whitney Johns ahead of the Kingpin tournament. Whitney, we've got to reflect first of all, not in the winner's bracket unfortunately. How do you assess the fight with Barbie?
Oh man, it's funny because coming back to fight week, it took me a couple weeks to process what happened, and then obviously it's very disappointing, and I really did feel like I kind of shit the bed on that one in terms of just my performance and what I was capable of. And I do think that it was like, the nerves, there's a stadium of 13,000 people, the lights, it's your first fight ever, and I had like 10 weeks of actual fight training. So I was very overwhelmed. I had a much bigger, stronger opponent. It was overwhelming. And her technique was not something that I was used to working with. I was working with really technical, like sparring partners, pro boxers and pro MMA fighters. So it was sort of like overwhelming in just knowing what to do in the situation, and I didn't stick to my game plan. So it's taught me a lot about, okay, you cannot let the adrenaline take over. At the end of the day, you could train as hard as you want and be as skilled as you can be, and then not stay calm and have that all go out the window. So that's the excitement of fighting, is that it's never a guarantee what's going to show up the night of, right? So for me, it's all been a lot of mental training and a lot of just like training relaxation, obviously needing to train my defense for sure. That was a big one. So it's been really enlightening, and it was overall a really good experience, although I was super gutted and sad that I lost and that it took me out of the running for the winners brackets. But, I'm here and I'm ready to kind of show what I'm capable of doing, show it to others, but mostly myself. Like, what am I actually capable of doing? Pulling that out in this second fight.
You're certainly speaking well, and you sound like you've really gone through the process of getting through the defeat. Can I ask you, look, you and her had a bit of fire in the pre-fight. Did that affect the fight at all?
I think, it's very different because my new opponent, like Amber, and I really adore each other. I really like her, and we've gotten to know each other pretty well. It's definitely a different energy going into this one, and so I think there is a little less nerves, but I do think that having a little bit of fire does like amp you up to fight more. But again, that's probably one of the reasons why I let the adrenaline get away from me, and I couldn't stay calm because I ended up getting into a brawl when I should have been smarter about my boxing. So yeah, it was a lot to think about. A lot of journaling.
Let's focus on the positives. Look, you took a lot of shots. Obviously, fighters don't want to take a lot of shots, but you withstood them and you rose up on the canvas, and lesser people would have quit. That's something we've seen in this industry. Maybe we even saw it on that card as well in a different fight. But look, does that to check that box off in such an environment, was that like a bit of growth for a person, for yourself?
Yeah, it definitely was a testament of like, okay, I can take shots and I don't quit, and I do have a fighter spirit and a fighter heart. So that's one thing, like my coaches always say, they're like, you can't teach that. So at least you have that. And then we can teach everything else. And then just working really strongly on my fundamentals, but then knowing I have that base of like, you're never going to make me quit. So that's one thing that gives me a lot of confidence.
Is she the Kingpin tournament winner for you?
She might be. I mean, that bitch might win because she's strong and she's powerful. It's kind of hard to work with someone like that, but we'll see. I mean, who knows? I think everybody is going to bring a completely different package to this fight because we've all taken it very seriously and have had extra weeks to prepare for it. So who knows? We could have some real killers emerge, but I could see her taking it just out of sheer size, strength.
Heading into this fight with Amber O'Donnell, look, there was a lot of talk about whether the Kingpin tournament would be on or not. Yeah. What was your understanding? Were you waiting on the call as to whether this was going ahead?
Oh yeah, we were like, wait, is this happening? My biggest thing was I was just so heartbroken at the idea that it might not happen because I did not want that first performance to be my only representation of my boxing and all this work that I poured into this. Like, I have literally poured my heart and soul, and all of these girls have, all the guys have, like, we've all taken it serious as a heart attack. So it was going to be really heartbreaking to not have a second go at it. And so I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here, to fight, to get out there and prove to myself, like, I can actually really do this.
So tell me then, look, you said that you and Amber, you kind of like each other, you got a soft spot for each other. How does the fight translate into you then getting the win to kind of like break through that kind of that that fondness and getting the win on fight night?
You know, I think at the end of the day, we're here to compete. And, you know, it's like with my sparring partners. Sparring has been so enlightening and so good because I love all my sparring partners. I'm friendly with all my sparring partners, but we still go in there and kick the shit out of each other, you know? So it's sort of like, at the end of the day, this is sport, and we're here to compete, and that's what it's about. So, you know, as much as I adore Amber, I have a lot to prove, and so, you know, we can't be going easy on each other. Sorry, but not sorry.
Would you like the fight to be a similar sort of fight like your first one? Not obviously having the defeat, but you two threw leather at each other. Would you like that same sort of fight at the weekend?
I would like an aggressive fight. I think we're both going to bring it. I do like that Amber is a lot more technical. She's a lot more... you know, not so much of a brawler, right? But I'm excited about the aggression. I think that we're both agreed, like, we got to be aggressive and it's going to be a tough fight, and I don't think there's any other way, you know? For me, like, that's not really my style. What I've found in my sparring is, like, I like to get into it. I like to brawl a little bit, and I enjoy that. Like, we're here to fight. Let's do that.
Whitney, we'll leave that there. Thanks for speaking to Seconds Out. Looking forward to seeing the ring this weekend. Appreciate you. Thank you.